At SCG Con Cincinnati, we interviewed Gabriel Ebady, a player from Columbus, Ohio, piloting an Abzan Food Combo deck in the Modern 5K tournament. In this video, we asked Gabriel about his deck's combo and how it battles other decks in this post-Lord of the Rings format.
They show up and they're like, oh, what's going on here? A bunch of people are gathering in a room watching a couple of people play with cardboard, you know?
I think it's a lot of fun getting to meet the people in person, play a bunch of events.
Never touched this deck ever.
I would just break it down with the gameplay. The gameplay's fun.
We're back, baby.
This deck is extremely grindy. A lot of people over-evaluate the combo element of it. It's extremely good at grinding through one rings and other effective cards. This deck can just grind ad nauseum. It keeps going. The creatures that die, you can bring them back. You can start cracking clues, crack food to gain life. It's really great at putting the screws to your opponent and making them use all their resources before you end them with an Academy Manufactor off the top or a Samwise Gamgee. My name is Gabriel Ebady. I'm playing Abzan Food Combo at the SCG 5K. Abzan Food is a value engine deck that combo kills you with Viscera Seer, Samwise Gamgee, and a Cauldron Familiar. The One Ring has been showing up in a lot of decks lately, and it really has slowed the format down. This deck in particular is not a particularly fast deck, but the combo goes right through the One Ring. It's a very effective, grindy deck, so that is why I chose to play it today. Abzan mana bases are very difficult for Urza Saga decks. It is a struggle, to say the least, to get your colors on right. Thankfully, the 4 Gilded Goose really helps, but you're playing 8 fetch lands, 4 shock lands, 3 fast lands, 4 Urza Sagas, 1 basic, and a Boseiju. Urza Saga is a great magic card. It's very difficult to play in this deck. The timing in which you play it is really important. You lock up a lot of your mana in the card, but it generates a lot of value. 2 large constructs and a artifact converted mana cost 1 or 0 is a great value engine for 1 card, but you don't want to play it early in this deck. You really want to play it late. You're spending your time, spending your mana. You do not want an Urza Saga on 2 that often. This deck is primarily a creature deck. That is what actually makes it pretty good into these Spell Pierce decks especially. It's 4 Asmor, 4 Samwise, 3 Cats, 1 Viscera Seer, 4 Academy Manufactors, 3 Ovalchase Daredevil, and Ranger-Captain of Eos. Those are all just really effective threats on their own, really great with food. So Asmor is a great, somewhat creature sweeper. This deck has no removal in it. The only thing that has removal is Asmoranomardicadaistinaculdacar. That card is really meant to shoot as many creatures as it can when it's the battlefield. Highly efficient, fetches cookbooks, and produces food. The Gilded Geese are great for mana fixing. They produce food as well, and are extremely effective at making sure you get a fast start. There's always been a variety of different cards, but the Academy Manufactors are amazing grinding pieces and produce multiple infinites with Samwise Gamgee, alternatively to the other combo. And then the Ranger-Captains of Eos are great at fetching the other side of the combo, whether it be Cats, Viscera Seers, or sometimes even spare geese, but especially effective at fetching Asmor in creature control matchup. The only non-creatures this deck plays are Finale of Devastation, 4 Trail of Crumbs as a way of grinding, and 4 Underworld Cookbook. So you always need 4 Cookbook with every Asmor deck you play. It is not even close. If you're not playing 4 Cookbooks, you're doing it wrong. Especially if you're playing Asmor, it's really necessary. You need to produce as much food as possible, and with those cards, you also need Ovalchase Daredevil. It has a loop where you discard Ovalchase Daredevil, it produces a food, Ovalchase Daredevil triggers to go back into your hand whenever an artifact enters the battlefield. And on top of that, the Finales of Devastations are just great fetchers. Very hard on the mana base. If you've noticed, you're playing double white cards and double green cards in your Saga mana base. Things can get very tricky very quickly. The way the combo works is that Samwise triggers to create a food whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield. If the cat is in your graveyard, you sacrifice the food to bring it into play, draining your opponent for 1 and triggering Samwise to create a food. If you sacrifice the cat in any number of ways, it's in the graveyard and the loop starts over again. This time you're up a life and they're down a life. You drain them for infinite life, infinite damage. So for today, I've brought a variety of different cards for my sideboard. A lot of these are one-off creatures or Saga targets, extra Haywire Mite, Pithing Needles, Nihil Spellbomb, 3 Thoughtseizes to make sure you're not losing to such combo decks. You've got some Endurances, generally good against Murktide decks. But otherwise, no, just general, 1 Path Exile, 1 Bone Shards, just to hit problematic creatures like Yawgmoth, for example. One of this deck's better matchups is Living End, so you really don't need to worry too much about graveyard hate. The deck you're kind of scared of at the moment is Tron. Whenever Tron plays the One Ring, that's a really good sign for you. Usually that means they've consigned themselves to doing nothing else on that turn, and you're in a really great spot to combo kill them. But in the situation where they just play a Karn Grey Creator and that can gum up, you can't activate your cookbooks, it doesn't stop your combo at all, but they play Sunring Titan, that blows up a lot of your lands. They can just really like chalk up, make a lot of mana, and just slam some stuff. So it's really important to impede that progress and try and get your combo out through there. Also, any hand that has usually a cookbook, Ovalchase, and Urza Saga can make dangerous constructs very quickly. That's another way. You can actually just race them. I think Abzan Food is a great choice. Very high difficulty deck. You'll learn a lot of lines quickly. The number one tip I can obviously give to people that are trying to play this deck is you need to play it fast. There's a lot of things going on. Try not to overrun your steps and whatnot, but you really need to know what you're doing. If you take things as slow as you would normally take the game, you will time out. Absolutely. You're making 9 to 15 permanents a turn. You're just going off. Even when you're not killing them, you're still going off. The best part about this deck is that it's extremely effective against these slow one-ring decks that aren't looking to dunk on you particularly hard. 4-color control, really great living end matchup. By discarding Academy Manufactors, you just reanimate and can kill them that same turn. It's very difficult for them. This deck is a very good metagame pick if you're expecting to face against living end, slower control decks, or 4-color, and all expecting one ring.
That's all for this video. We'll have more modern deck decks to feature in the coming weeks, so please subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to like, share, and comment. We hope to see you again. Thanks for watching.